Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. Welcome to Not Fashion Hub, the best fashion channel in the world. So without wasting time today, I'm going to cut that native top we're seeing right there. It's quite simple to cut. I'm going to show us the measurement we're going to use. We're going to use a shoulder measurement of 18, chest measurement of 38, and a fitting measurement of 36. The full length is 34. The sleeve length is 23. Sleeve round is 7 because it's going to be cufflinks, alright. So without wasting time, let's hit into the video and cut our, let's call it a double-breasted or an overlapping senator top. So now, how do we fold our fabric to cut this kind of top? Remember, our chest measurement is 38, and when you are cutting, you divide your chest measurement by 4. So when you divide 38 by 4, you are for sure going to have 9.5, if I'm right. Okay, we're going to have 9.5. So first is for you to measure your fabric. Okay, so we'll be using this place that is deep in here. Okay, so that we'll be sure that if we use here, this place might affect our measurement. So we'll be using this place. So first we're going to measure 9.5 inwards. So ideally this is 9.5. Ideally this is 9.5. All right. Now we are going to add our overlapping allowance plus the seam allowance. So if you look at the overlapping there is just maximum of 4 inches. All right. So we are going to give it maximum of 4 inches. So from 9.5, if you add 4 inches, you have 1, 2, 3, 4. This will be 4 inches, okay, plus half-inch seam allowance. So everything is landing at 14 from here. Now, we did not add allowance for side vent, alright, because if you look at this from here, if you draw this line straight from here, you will discover that we have excess here that will take care of our side vent, okay. That's why we didn't add an allowance for side vent. If not, if this fabric was straight, we will definitely add an allowance for side vent, okay. So we are folding this by what? 14 on the top. So this is it. So let's check and see if this is up to 14. What I've folded here. Let's confirm it is up to, if it is up to 14. Yeah, this is up to 14, alright. I say 14.5 because of the seam allowance, so this is 14.5. Alright, let's just add half more inch allowance. Let's have more allowance. So this is quite simple. The next thing we're going to do now is to straight away begin to apply our measurements, alright, and cut out this native. So let's now get the length of our native. So the length of this native, we said the length is what? We said the length is 34. So this is 34 right here. Well, we're going to add 2 inches allowance to it. So still mark this side and we indicate our 2 inches, our 36. Alright. I believe that this is clear enough for you to see. It's visible enough. The chalk I'm using is visible enough for you to see. Alright. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the front block. Then I will also remove the back block before we will do any shaping here. So remember we said our overlapping is going to be 4 inches plus the seam allowance for the overlapping side. That'll be 4.5. So this is 4.5 here. This is 4.5. So I'm still going to mark this 4.5 in 2 different places so that we can get a straight line. This is 4.5. Alright. So we can now use a straight rule to get a long rule to get a straight line. So it therefore means that our senator measurement is strictly starting from here to this side. All right, what we have here is the is the overlapping allowance. Okay, so what we're going to do next, we're going to cut this inwards and then fold it on this line. Okay, because we want to be sure that we are not making a mistake. Make a notch here, still make a notch here. Alright, the next thing, you fold it on this allowance before you do anything cutting. Alright, so use an iron to make sure that it's very flat. This is quite simple, and so if you are here to subscribe to my channel, please, I'd like you to hit the subscribe button and turn your notification bell on, so that whenever I drop amazing content like this, you'll be the first to be notified. Alright, so the next thing we are going to do is to mark 4 inches from this line downwards to slant the shoulder. When you are cutting, you slant the shoulder downwards. Alright, so I'm going to slant it from this point to this side, okay, by 4 inches. Alright, I believe the chop is visible enough for you to see clearly. So we're going to cut this out, and then the next thing is this. We said that the chest of this native is a size of 9.5, right? So this is 9.5. This is the chest measurement for this native, 9.5. So we are going to add minimum of 3 inches. All right, this will serve for our side vent allowance, and seam allowance. So this now becomes 12 3/4. So I'll mark this 12 3/4, 2 different places, and I'll join with a straight line. Like I said, this additional allowance I added here is to serve for the side vent allowance and the seam allowance. Please, if you are lost at any point, you can rewind the video and look at it again, but I believe it's quite simple. And all we are doing now is to remove the front block so that we can also get the back block before we go on shaping our Senator native. You can see it. This is our overlapping for this is our allowance for the overlapping. Alright, so watch how we're going to do it. It's quite simple, trust me. So I'm going to fold for the back block now, so that we'll go on and finish everything. So we're going to extend the back block by 4 inches. So this is where the front block stops. So we're going to extend the back block by 4 inches. It's 4 inches. Sorry, supposed to be using yellow chalk. This is another 4 inches. Alright. So we join this line and get a straight line. Join these 2 points, get a straight line. I think these are not new steps to us, except you are learning for the first time. These are not new steps. These are the regular things we do. Alright, so we're going to cut this. Alright. Go to this point, cut it down. Alright. You can see it's quite clear. The next thing I'm going to do is to fold this allowance inward. Let it cross this line by just half an inch. It's okay. A little bit less than half an inch. So now we are going to apply our measurements. I'm going to apply our measurements to this. Alright. So we're going to first of all get our shoulder measurement, alright? And so our shoulder measurement is 18. 114 divided shoulder by 2. 18 divided by 2, that will be 9, alright? Mind you, this is where we're going to start our measurements. Alright? 19 by 2 will give you 9. So I'm going to take a 9 from here. This is 9 plus half inch seam allowance, alright? That become 9.5. Alright? The next is for us to get our arm measurement. And the formula for getting arm is simply shoulder divided by 2. And if we divide our shoulder by 2, which is what? Our shoulder measurement we said is 18 divided by 2 is 9, alright? It's 9, so this is 9. Right here. This is 9. But like I told us from our previous video, I did a video on how to get, I've done a lot of videos on how to locate arm perfectly. So when you get your 9, you're not going to use this 9 complete, you minus 1.5 inch from the 9. So you're going to be using 7 and 1.5 inch from 9, you're going to be using 7.5. Alright? So this is 7.5 we have right here. We're not using this 9 completely. And I'll show us why we're not using this 9 completely. The next thing for us to do is to take our chest measurement, and our chest measurement is 9.5. This is 9.5 right here. 9.5. Alright? This is 9.5 plus seam allowance, that will become 10. Maybe 10.25. A quarter inch allowance. Alright? So the next thing we're going to do is, if we measure this from here to here, we have 9. So I'm going to extend this 9 down, that shoulder line. Here to here is 9, alright? So extend it down. So use this ruler to get a straight line here. Alright? Mind you, this is our chest line. This is our chest line, alright? So on this chest line, we're going to mark 2 inches upwards. 2 inches upwards. We're trying to cover our arm now. 2 inches upwards. Alright? Then we'll mark minimum of 1 inch inside. Alright? And then we'll curve it, alright? We'll curve from here. You can use your French cuffs if you have them. But I like using my free hand. Alright, so we'll curve from here. And this is our arm. Alright? So a quick one. I told us our arm was 9, but we're going to use what? 7.5. Now if we measure this, we're still going to get our 9 back. So this is our 9 right here, you see? So if we had used the whole 9, by now we'll be getting something 10 or 10.5 thereabout. So that's why when you get your arm, you minus 1.5 inch from it, and then you use whatever you have remaining. So the next thing for us to do now is to locate the fitting, the tummy point of this top, alright? And for us to get our fitting, we'll simply mark, this is our chest, we'll mark 6 inches from our chest or 7 inches from our chest to get the fitting of the top, alright? So 7 inches from the chest line, this is it, right here. What I'm going to do is to make this straight. 7 inches from the chest line to get our tummy, alright? And I will say that our fitting is what? Our fitting is 36, alright? So if we divide 36 by 4, that should be 9, alright? So this is 9. 9 here. Plus our 3/4 seam allowance, that will be 9 3/4. We're using a 3/4 seam allowance, alright? The next line for us to locate is our hip line, okay? And hip line is normally located 15 inches, alright? Or rather 16 inches from the what? The arm, or from this chest line here. 16 inches. So this is our what? Our hip line. Alright? Look at this point from, let's turn the tape this way. From the arm point here, or the chest line there, 16 inches downwards is where you locate your hip line. So on your hip line, you're still going to bring back your what? Your chest measurement plus half inch to it. And our chest measurement we had is what? We had 9.5, we're using 10.25. So bringing 10.25 here, we're going to add half inch 10.25, that becomes 10 3/4, alright? Look at our line, look at it here. Look at 10 and a quarter. So plus half, that becomes what? 10 3/4. Hope this is very clear for us. Very, very clear. Very, very clear. Alright, so we're going to join these points. We join this armhole line to the fitting line, fitting point. See that? I will join the fitting point to the what? The hip line. You can see this. It's quite simple. I like making this here to be a bit slanted. Alright, to start anyway. So if you enjoy what you're seeing, please hit the subscribe button, like the video, give me a thumb up. I really appreciate that. You can share the video. You must have made my day. So thank you so much. Next, we are going to do is to locate our neck. Alright, to get our neckline. Alright, always ensure this is not sharp here. It's a bit blended. Okay, blended. Alright, so next is for us to get our neck. And I also did a video on how to get your neck perfectly. Alright, it's quite simple. The formula for getting the neck, for a neck of 16, you take it at this point, not up here. At this point here, you mark 2 inches. Alright, wideness, and the depth you also use what? 4 inches. Alright, when you cut this out, you're going to get 16. Alright, which is the neck we are looking for. So you see, I'm going to cut this point here. I'm going to cut this, and I'll deepen it behind by just half an inch. I'm trying to make it very visible for you to see, so I can follow easily. Right, I'll deepen it behind by just half an inch. Now mind you, all this that I'm doing, this is still folded. All right, it's still folded. I've not touched it. It's still folded. It's like this. So what I'm going to do next, I'm going to do some cutting. All right, so this neck, we're still going to cut as it's folded, but please mind you, watch the back. Don't cut together with the back. That would be a big error. All right, so draw the front, fold it, trim your neck out. All right, then continue to the back. Then you see, I said deepen it by half an inch. Don't see that? I have a neck right there. Simple. The next I'm going to do is to cut this. Okay. But mind you, the front piece is always a bit deeper. So we're going to deepen just the front a little. That's what I'm doing here. Just the front, okay? For fitting sake, alright? This is for fitting sake. Alright, so now we have our top. What I'm going to do next, I'm going to open this line, I'm going to separate it, okay? Separate this. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to do, that's separating this. This is our back piece. Alright, so you see this is our front piece. This is, ensure to give it a notch here. The notch should be here. Very important to have that notch there. The next thing we're going to do is to, you see, this is it right here. So you can see this is our top. Now this is the overlapping, alright? You see? Our top here. This is the overlapping side. Look at it here. The main measurement stops here. Okay, let me use this side that has chalk so that you can see it clearly. Let's use it like this so that you can see what I'm saying clearly. Alright? This is, you see right here, you can see this was the excess we gave. All right, so you can see this is overlapping. You can see this very well. See this? All right, but as you can see from the image you saw that this style, one of the side that is carrying button is going down this way. This allowance is folded in this way, so you can see this is the side. Simply trim it this way. but that is the left side that is carrying buttons. All right, so our top, if we are to keep it normally the way it should be, then this is the left side carrying buttons. All right, that's the left side. So let's keep it the good face to good face so that we understand very, very clearly. So this is the side that's going to carry buttons. All right, so this is the left side that's going to carry buttons. Okay, so it means it is this side that are going to trim off from here. Can you see this? That's what I'm saying. Now it depends on how deep you want this to be, but the notch here, it can be from the notch here, you trim it down. All right, you can trim it down from the notch here. All right, or you trim it from a little bit before the notch. All right, so you see this side is going to be like this notch should stay with this notch here. All right, so it means your buttons are going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, as many as you want to design it. But you see this overlapping side that will carry buttons. It's quite simple and it's straightforward. So if you enjoyed watching this video, if it made sense, I'd like you to hit the subscribe button, turn your notification bell on so that whenever I drop my videos, you will be the first to be notified. Alright, so if you check the description below, I dropped a link there to my WhatsApp group. Hit the link and join my WhatsApp group so when I drop my videos, you will be the first to be notified. Check the link in my description. Alright, so you see how I folded it. We're going to cut the lapel for both sides of the shirt. We're going to cut our lapel, but before we do that, I would want us to deal with the issue of the neck. You see how the neck is slanted in the design, as you can see that design right there. You see the neck, the left side that is carrying this very side now that is carrying the button is slanted inwards. All right, so we're going to slant that. Meanwhile, this very piece now is going to be the piece. This is the right side piece of the shirt, so it's going to be inside, and so we are going to make it straight at this point. Okay, just straight. We don't need it to carry any particular form of shape to be curved, just straight. But this left side now, which is going to carry buttons, this very one now that I'm folding right now, that is going to carry buttons, is the one that is going to take the slanty shape. And you can see the V there is matching with the V of this left side. The notch we made there, there's a notch there. Both notch must match up and down so that you are sure that the shirt is straight. Okay, so now we're going to use our ruler and shape the left side how it's going to slant. Mind you, this left side is the one that is carrying button. It's the left side of the shirt that carries button. So this is how we're going to slant it, just like it is in the design we are doing. It's slanted. Okay, so we're going to slant it downwards. As you can see, you can slant it into as deep as you want or as high as you want. There's no particular formula to that. So we're going to trim it out carefully. We're going to trim it out carefully. All right, so that's that. So you can see that our left side now that is going to carry button, you can see how it is now, how I've slanted it. All right, so without wasting time, the next thing we are going to do is to cut the lapels for both the left and the right hand side. What is a lapel? It's a piece of fabric we're going to use to turn it in, to turn the left side in, because this is like a suit. Okay, it's looking like a suit. All right, so this crossing, this double breasted this extension here that is 4 inches, we are going to turn it in. We're not just using bias to turn the edges. No, we're using another piece of fabric which I call the lapel. If you are conversant with suit, you understand, you will cut it and we'll use it to turn both of the sides. All right, so we'll start with this left side. If you are lost, just follow me as I do it. You understand what I'm calling the lapel. Just watch now. It's just like lining. Okay, if you are turning it in. All right, but we'll call the lapel. All right, so you can see this is a piece I'm going to use now to turn this left side. Okay, so I'm going to cut it out. All right, assuming the shape of however I want it to be. Now from the neck here, that's I'm going to mark like 2 inches allowance from the neck here. From the beginning of the neck, I mark like 2 inches inside downwards. After that notch, there's a notch there we made to identify the center. So I'm marking 1 inch away from the notch, or 1.5 inches. It's still okay. So we'll now join this point and the down point we made right there. That is how we're going to shape our lapel. You can call it lining, but it's not too good. Call it lapel, all right? Because it's double breasted. It's double breasting. Okay. Double-breasted simply means it is crossing. The shirt, the two parts of the shirt are crossing. So I'm going to trim it out carefully. This is what we use to turn this piece, and we'll do the same thing with the right hand piece. I'm not going to show us the right hand piece because I want us to save time, alright? So I won't show us that. But the same thing I'm doing here is the same thing I'm going to apply on the right side of the shirt. So if you're enjoying this content, please subscribe, like the video. I would really appreciate if you can do that. Like the video. The more you like my videos, the more YouTube will show them for others to watch. So please, I appreciate if you can like my videos. Thank you so much. So the next thing is to trim it out the same way I am doing. It's quite simple and straightforward. Alright, I didn't fast forward some of these things so that you already get them and understand, even though I fast forward most of them. So you can see we have finished cutting our lapel for the left side of the shirt. You can see that this is what we're going to use to turn the edges and the neck of this shirt. You can see how it's looking inside. Alright, so the next thing is for us to apply paper gum. I like using paper gum on things like this. We'll apply paper gum on this side. I'm going to mark, yes, paper gum here. Alright, so I've applied the paper gum and this is how it's looking. So the next thing we're going to do is to sew and turn. We are sewing on the good side to turn it into the bad side. So we place this lapel on our good side of the shirt. We are sewing to turn into the bad side. Alright, please don't get lost. We are the lapel which we gum now, we have placed it on the good side. I'm repeating, on the good side of the shirt, so that we'll sew and turn it into the bad side. Alright, so you can see I'm sewing it. I'll fast forward at this point. I'll fast forward so that we don't waste much time. So if you check the description below this video, I dropped a link there to my WhatsApp group. Please hit the link and join the group so that when I drop my videos, you will be the first to be notified. Thank you so much. So you see we are done with this right here. So next thing we're going to do is to notch it. And why do we notch? So that when we turn it in, it will lie flat. Whenever you've sewn something that is curved, something that is round, you notch it, alright, so that when you turn it, it will turn easily and it will be looking flat. Alright, that's why you notch like this. So the same thing we've done to this left side, I'm going to do it to the right side of the shirt, the right piece of the shirt. The same thing we have done here, we'll replicate it on the right piece of the shirt. Alright, after that we'll go to the table and we will press it very well to get the shape of what we are looking for. So you see, we're going to turn it out. Alright, so how it's looking. So you see the way I sew it on the part that has gum, that is where I sew it, and we'll turn it out. But we'll go to the table to do this much more easier and simple. So you see, like I said, turn it out. Very well, and then we'll press it. Alright, it's quite simple, it's not difficult at all. Make sure I give it good ironing. Let the seam parts not be showing in front. The seam line shouldn't show in front. Alright, so you make sure you iron it carefully and properly. Alright, so we bring our right side piece and we bring two of them together, and remember the notch we made down here. Look at it here at the end of the shirt here. The notch should match. You can see it should match so as to get the accurate size of the shirt. Let the notch match, so you can see how it is. Now you notice that I didn't apply we're using pins to hold it together. So you notice I didn't apply the color on the edge of the left, the piece that has the buttons. I don't want it. All right, so I'm going to join the shoulder of both the back and the front piece together. So this is the bad side of the fabric. The bad side of the fabric is facing the other second bad side, so you can see. And while stitching it, you see this is the good side outside, the front good side outside, the back good side outside. So you see, while placing the front on the back, I've left allowance of like a 3/4 inch. A 3/4 inch allowance, I've left it there. So now I'm going to stitch it. Look carefully. I'm going to stitch it leaving a 3/4 inch allowance, such that I'm going to use it to turn the neck behind. That's why I left that 3/4 inch, that 1/4 inch allowance there, so that I'll use it to turn my back piece. All right, very important. So you can see how it's looking. So I'm going to do the same thing on the right side, the other side of the shoulder. Just watch closely, see the same thing I'm going to do. Very simple. I'm going to do the same thing here, right? So without wasting time, we'll shift it to the back, then we'll stitch it. So we're done stitching the both sides of the shoulders. Next thing to do is now to turn our yoke. We'll turn the neck first. You see the allowance, the 1/4 inch allowance I left there. If you can check where you see that the 1/4 inch allowance I left, you can see. I'm going to now sew on it so as to turn the yoke. All right. So that is the neck part I'm sewing now. On that 1/4 inch allowance is the neck part I'm sewing. So I'm sewing it on that 1/4 inch allowance, nothing more than the 1/4 inch allowance. It's quite simple. If you can just follow up. So I want to be sure that I'm not stitching the front part of the shirt at the extreme end here, so that when I turn it out, it will turn very well. All right, so I'm done with this. Right, the next thing is for us to stitch the yoke to our back piece of the shirt. As you can see, turning it out, you can see how neatly it's looking. I'm done turning the neck. I believe it's quite simple, and you should understand it's quite simple. If you're enjoying this video, if it's making sense, please hit the subscribe button, give me a thumb up, like the video, share the video. I would really appreciate if you can do that. I would really appreciate. All right, the more views I get, the more the video will be recommended for so many others to watch. So I appreciate if you can like the video even as you watch. Thank you so much. So we're going to ensure that our yoke, is flat. All right, this is one thing you must not also joke with. Your yoke, ensure that it is flat. Ensure that it's flat before you start stitching. And as you are stitching, ensure that it's flat, and just watch where I'm stitching. I'm stitching on the edge of the fabric. All right, so it gives beauty when your stitches are neatly arranged at the edge of whatever you are stitching. All right, it gives beauty and it looks standard. All right. Want to be sure that it's very flat and there's no issue anywhere. So next thing is for us to press it very well so that we don't have any issues. Press it very well. Also press the neck behind very well to make sure it is properly aligned. All right. We break the yoke line. I mean, this is quite simple. So you can see how our shirt is already turning out. You can see our shirt is coming out. Very simple. You can see the crossing, how simple it's looking. The overlapping, rather. You can see how the overlapping is looking very, very simple and fine. So next thing for us to do is to stitch the sleeves, all right? And the sleeves of a shirt, the long sleeves, they have both the left and the right side, okay? They have both the left and the right side. So there's a notch here on the left side. There's a notch here. So I'm going to have this notch on the sleeve and the notch on the body of the shirt. I'm going to keep them to match each other. Look at the notches there, the two of them. That's what I'm going to start stitching. Hope you can see that very well. So the same thing I'm doing on the left side of this sleeve, I'm going to do the same thing on the right side of the sleeve. Okay, so I'm not going to be showing the right side of the sleeve, because whatever I'm doing on the left side of this sleeve is the same thing I'm going to do on the right side of the sleeve. Yep, so we are done with one side. We'll stitch the second side of the sleeve as well, carefully. And when we are done with this second, I just wanted to observe how I'm stitching it, okay? That's why I didn't fast forward. And when we are done with this second side, we will move to the right hand side of the shirt as well. And that sleeve I'm not going to show, because the same thing we are doing here that we still apply will replicate, right? So I won't be showing us when I'm stitching the right sleeve, the right hand sleeve. Just watch it closely and you see that I'm stitching it. I hope it's clear enough for you to see. Stitching on 1/2 inch allowance, all right? I have a little excess on the sleeve here, but I think it's okay. It's better to have a little excess than to have it shorten, all right? So you can see I've finished the left hand sleeve. I'm going to do the same thing I've done here. You can see how flat it's looking. You can see I do the same thing on the second side, all right? And so we are done with that, stitching the second side, and I've weaved my shirt neatly. The next thing is for us to join it. So we're going to locate our bust. Our bust measurement is 38, that is 19. 38 by 2, that is 19. So we're going to stitch the chest. We're going to join the shirt, and we need to know the size of our chest, all right? That's why I measured the chest there. We need to know the size of our chest, the chest measurement we are using. And for this shirt, the chest measurement is 38, which is divided by 2, we give you 19, all right? So I'm going to stitch on about 3/4 inch allowance here. It's a bit more than 1/2 inch. The allowance I have is a bit more than 1/2 inch, all right? It's a bit more than 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch allowance. So we'll stitch all the way to the end. And whatever I'm doing on this side is the same thing I've done on the second side, so I'll not be showing on the second side. Whatever I stitch here, the same thing I'm going to stitch on the second side of the shirt. So that's how we're going to do it. So after stitching both sides, the next thing is for us to go over to the table and hem the side vents, the down of the shirt. Sorry. So you can see our shirts here looking. This is the overlapping side, the left side that is overlapping. You can see how it's looking. Very simple. If I want to remove this pin now, you see the down part as well. You can see that is the down part. You can see it covering very well inside and the left side of the shirt overlapping very well. So this is quite simple. Okay, it's quite simple. If you follow what we've been doing right from when we began cutting down to this point, I believe that you should be able to produce something much more better than this. All right, because it's quite simple. Trust me, very simple. So if you enjoyed this video, if this video made sense, please hit the subscribe button, turn your notification bell on. Thanks for watching. Welcome to Nat Fashion Hub. Thank you.